cough, cough. Right, so we will be going over first angle and third angle projection, so not just first angle, and we will be covering everything you all need to know um, to be able to do first angle and third angle projection accurately. Now, this is important because it's going to cover all of the foundational knowledge that you will build upon when it comes down to your not only your isometrics and understanding your isometric from of either first angle or third angle projection perspective, or um, for your assembly drawings, which will of course come for the CXC examinations. So the first thing that I talk to you all about, yeah. So the first thing that I usually reference is the vertical and the horizontal plane, because when we're drawing, this will be the actual first cross. Let me see if I could draw it here for you all. Not this, right? Was actually the vertical plane and the horizontal plane. So here we're gonna have VP for the vertical plane going up and down, and then we're gonna have the HP for the horizontal plane. Now this is important because when we are drawing, we need to understand the orientation of our object or our subject that we'll be looking at in three-dimensional space so that we could plot it properly, whether it be the plan, whether it be the front, or one or some view of the end. And this is important for both first angle and third angle projection. But before we get into the projections themselves, let's break apart what exactly first angle projection or third angle projection is actually talking about. So the first thing, which is the first angle or the third angle, so like just put one here, right? And then we have the third angle, right? And then we have the projection part of it. The first angle and the third angle actually references the orientation inside of this quadrant here, right? So first angle will reference objects that exist in this here. Let me just draw a little one here. And third angle will actually reference objects that exist in here. Right? If it is that we had, let's just say like a second angle, it would be here, and if it is that we had a fourth angle, it would be here. But these two are the primary ones that we will be focusing on for this lesson. Yeah. So we're gonna take this idea and expand on it a bit. So now we understand why it's actually first angle and why it's actually third angle, and the projection part of it comes from when we actually have an object. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this vertical plane and horizontal plane to more of a three-dimensional object where we can visualize 3D better. So I'm very horrible at drawing, according to some people. But this is still going to be our vertical plane, and this is still going to be our horizontal plane, right? H. Our horizontal plane. However, if I'm doing it, let's just say I'm hitting it a little isometric or a little oblique view, it's going to look something like this. Yes? In fact, not even there. Yes? You can come up like that. Nice. So we could still tell whether or not, in fact, the four quadrants that we have from here across here. And I'm going to show you. So if it is that I had the first angle, where would it exist? First angle will be here, yes? In this particular area that I'm showing you here. So this here will still be, and I'm going to draw like a little dot here for a little screen. This here will still be the first angle, and this at the bottom here will actually still be the third angle. Let me just underline that so we know exactly what it is that we're talking about. But these two references this part of the quadrant, and then we have this hidden part of the quadrant right here. Now, expanding on this a bit is if it is that we have an object, and we're going to choose a very simple object. Let me just change the color. We're going to choose a very simple object to display. We're going to put it in green. So our object is going to be a kind of like L-shaped brick. We'll call it that. Let's just say I have this object that exists in three-dimensional space in my drawing. So it's like this. And I don't mind my drawing, right? Nice. So since I have this object here, this is where the projection part comes in, where let's just say I also have like a light source. In fact, for first angle projection, let's think about it as like a having a light source. If I am shining a light, and I'm going to use yellow for light, sure. I'm going to use a yellow, whatever color that is. I don't even think that is yellow. Sure, we'll name it that. Right? If I'm using that here, and I have this light source and it's shining directly, no, directly this way. Yeah, yeah. All the rays going out like this, right? And it's heading towards our object. It will actually cast a shadow on this object. However, the details that we will see from this projection will be this part of the drawing here. Yes? It will be this part. So what will cast here, and the details that we will see on the back here, I'm going to try and draw it in the yellow. It's like a little L. Yes? Nice. Now, if it is that we change the color of our light source, so let's just say purple, and we're gonna look from it from above, and we're looking down, and we're shining the light, looking down now, right? What is gonna happen at the bottom is it's gonna basically cast basically like a purple shadow. I wouldn't really call it a purple shadow, but what we will see from this angle, from the plan, is a purple kind of rectangle, but it will also have a very interesting thing, which is you see exactly this line here. This line will now be a solid line on this object. Can you see it? Okay, sorry. Let me use a more of a contrast for your the blue. This one. All right. So let me see if you can see this. Yeah, it's going. This solid line here is gonna actually cut in here. So we're gonna see our object looking like this. Yeah? And this is gonna be a solid line. Main reason is because all here will actually be will actually have the light. Yes? No, not this face. So this face will be shown here, and this face will be shown at the bottom here. Please don't mind my little Sesame Street looking drawing. Anyways, we're moving on. We're moving on. So now we're gonna have two types. So now we have our front elevation, which is gonna be this one here. We have our plan, and now we have to look at our end elevation. Now our end elevation, we're gonna look at this little dotted screen, Spanish. We're gonna look at this little dotted screen in the back here, right? And we're going to project our end elevation onto it. However, the end elevation is not limited to just that part of it alone. If I was supposed to, let's just say, complete my looking, let's say we have an imaginary line coming here, right? This could also be a screen, while this is also a screen. You understand where I'm coming from? Nice. Like a box, a cube or of sort, a cuboid of sort. Right now, if it is that I'm gonna, let me see what other colors we have in our reserves. Let's just say we're gonna shed another light. I'm going back to yellow, and the light will be coming from, and this is a very big important part that everyone needs to pay attention to. Majority of the times they're going to tell you they want the end elevation looking from a particular direction, either this direction, or they will have an arrow coming in from on this direction, and they will say they want the end elevation looking from direction, let's just call this C, and let's just call this D. Now, depending on where they tell you they want you to look at it from, that will determine the correctness of your hidden lines, right? For example, if it is I'm looking at it from direction C, and C is being projected onto the diagram behind, what I will see is I will see let's just say like a rectangle like this, and it will also have a cut coming across, and that cut coming across corresponds directly to the this cut that we also projected downwards here. So this is that particular cut, and the two faces that we will see here would correspond to, I'm going to choose the dark blue for this one, This, nope, I can't, I'll choose a lighter blue apparently, will correspond to this face here, if I can color it in, and which will be here, and this one at the bottom here, which will be here. Now, yes, my sketching will look a little sketchy, but at least we understand that, okay, this is being projected onto this side. Now, this particular view, meaning from the direction D, is not going to be anything associated with this. In fact, the direction will determine what turns into a hidden line. So let me just come at the side here. Let me just bring this across. Right? I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to copy this. Right? So we're going to just bring it across here for a bit. Right? I'm going to take off this in the back. Right, so now let's look at this coming from the direction D. Right, so we're looking at it from direction D, looking this way. So I'm just going to move the screen a little forward, like this particular screen. I'm going to move it forward a bit so that we could visualize the screen here. Yeah, so this will be this little square will be the screen, how it will be projected. Now, what I will see from this angle or from this projection looking at D is, can anybody reference it? Can anybody tell me? The exact same object that I would have had before, which is this, the rectangle. However, remember we had the line coming across here, or the line that we reference here, that will no longer be a solid line. Simply because we're looking at the back of the object here. Right? So this, since it comes after, it will be hidden to our view. Yes? So what we'll do is we will simply switch it across, and this will now become hidden. Yes? Now, last but not least, once we have this part of it down pack, how does this translate to first angle projection on our paper? Now, rules for first angle projection will include where your plan is supposed to be. And remember, your plan is at the bottom. Let me see if I could bring this into focus. Your plan is essentially going to come from this right here, this view being projected onto the horizontal plane, which is this line going across. That is your plan. And your front elevation is going to be projected onto the vertical plane. And these views, meaning D and C, which we had here, those will be your end elevation or your end views. Where? Yeah? Fend? Right. So we have the end view, we have the front, and we have the plan. Now, how I like to visualize this, especially when you're revising and you don't really have AutoCAD in front of you, is visualize it like a box and then you're going to be opening it out. Now, remember on this one here, we had our end elevation coming from E, and then on this one here, we have our end elevation coming from C. So we're also going to have to incorporate that onto our drawing. If I'm opening it up, or I'm opening up this drawing from a three-dimensional box, it's going to look very similar to this. So let's start with our front. So our front will be here, right? And then we're going to fold down the flap of the plan, technically, right? We're going to fold down the flap of the plan, so the plan is going to come here. And then this here is actually our vertical. This is our vertical, right? So our vertical end plane. So because it's going up, right? So one screen is going to fold open. So this one is going to kind of like fold open this way, and this one is kind of like going to fold open this way, right? And we're going to bring it, and it's going to be like this. Yes? And what we're accustomed to, and usually what we teach when first angle projection, is that this is our front. Let me just center this. Oops. Right. So we usually show that this is our front. This is our plan. And the end elevation is either here or here. Nice. Now, which view we place here will it actually depends on the view of the object that we took from before, meaning C and D. Now remember, C was projecting onto this screen in the back here, and D was projecting onto this screen in the back here. So this, I'm just going to label it. This here will actually be from D, and this will actually be from view C. Again, we're gonna reference the drawings that we did before with the C and D. So where C projects onto this one, when we fold it open, this will be the C screen here. Where D comes looking from this direction, it's on this screen, so it's gonna actually be projected here. Another important thing that I want you all to note, especially when drawing either first angle or third angle projection, will be your 45-degree transfer lines here and here, which is important. This is important because any dimensions we don't want to transfer from our end to our plan will happen along this particular line or this particular line. So in CXC, when it is that you are looking at your or anything that they want you to draw, they tell you sketch something from this projection using the front, any plan or whatever it is, you will have how you draw that object will be determined on how it aligns with this, right? Meaning simply that if it is that you know they tell you, okay, draw it looking at this three-dimensional object from, oh my gosh, from drawing this three-dimensional object looking from, they often will tell you C, but they could also tell you D. If they tell you looking at it from C, then of course it's going to be, well, minus this part here, it's going to be what you're accustomed to, which is front end plan. Yes? However, right, so however, this is still first angle projection, it's not third angle. What we will do is we usually have, if it's looking from D, then we will not be putting D on this side here. No, we're going to cut off this part here and we're going to actually just draw D on this side for your first angle projection. Yes? Now, let's take that same theory and now we will be converting it for third angle projection, which is the almost the opposite of first angle projection, right? It's a little bit tricky, but let's follow this through. If I make any mistakes at all, you all can feel free to comment or message me or email me to correct me. I would like to learn too, okay? Right, so we're learning this as we go along. Anyways, so we're gonna come back to this, right? So we're gonna have, I'm gonna draw the vertical, damn, that's definitely not the vertical, diagonal plane. Alright, so I'm gonna draw the vertical plane and the horizontal plane here again. Feel like let's zoom in. Maybe. Um Let me see if I can zoom in. Yeah boy, this real crooked. Alright, no saving it. Right, so we're gonna draw it from here. I try to save it. And here, right? Nice. So we still have our vertical plane and we still have our horizontal plane, right? However, since we no longer working in first angle projection, some of the rules which we had before changes a bit. And how it changes is important. So now we're gonna technically use the same object, right? We're gonna convert this into like a right, so we're gonna convert this to this, and then we're gonna convert this across like this. Nice. So now we're gonna use this from this particular angle, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna first draw our little L-shaped block inside of here, and then we will project it across. So the L-shaped block is basically gonna be like this. Here, 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 here. Damn, crooked. Here, 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 here. Wait, I cooking. Here. Am I? Am I? Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's close enough. Close enough, close enough, close enough, close enough. Damn. Right. So it's gonna look like this in third angle projection, right? Now remember we have the same looking faces here and we also have it here. So for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna separate it. This is just for us to visualize exactly where it will be in our plane. So now I'm going to draw. I know it is just cringe when I say I go and draw something, but bear with me, right? I'm going to draw a cuboid to represent the same thing that I just had. So I'm just going to draw like this, like this, like this, like this, come across like this. Right. Damn. I missed the whole bottom of the thing. Weak. And you know what? Boom. Right. So this is representative of this. Yeah? Of this. No, not this part here. Let me just take this. Of this. Right? So this here. Damn. So this is going to be representative of right, this. Wait. Nice. This is actually this little slice here. So this line on top of here will be the horizontal plane. Technically, the cross is still like this. You understand, right? All right. Nice. Once we understand, we getting back in it. So since I have the object in this particular plane, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna represent how it will actually look. So the L shape, for when it comes down to third angle projection, I kid you not, you have to pay attention to this, right? Right? When we are looking at an object, it's no longer the from the flashlight perspective that we use in first angle projection, but it's better to think about it as a mirror of a sort, right? So we know if this was a mirrored surface, it will be you what you will be seeing is the details from this side of the object. Yes? If this was the mirror facing the object, then whatever details here, if it was 1, 2, 3, we'll actually see them 1, 2, 3 here. Right? We would not see on this side as opposed to if it was a flashlight, it would be projected onto the surface. Yeah? We're not going to see that. That would only apply in the first angle when we're talking about like the first angle. So I like to think about it as a mirrored surface. So we're going to have some views. Let's just say we have the first one looking down. We know this one is what? Our plan. It'll take a long to answer that. Plan. Cooked. Cooked. Right? So this is going to be the plan. Right? So the plan is going to be looking down. Right? And since we do any whole mirrored theory, right? The object that what we will see is, let me see if I can switch. I'll switch to yellow. Right? The object that we'll see is going to be like this, 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 and this. I know everybody can see. Are you seeing it? Yeah. And then we're going to have a solid line here because we're looking from this direction. Yes? So if I was supposed to draw that, let's know. I'm going to cook. I'm going to get rid of this. Bam. Right. If I was supposed to draw that on top of this, I would, if I'm representing it, that would be here. Yes? Nice. And this would be a solid line. Yes? Nice. Now, if it is that we're going with the same mirror theory for the third angle, and we're looking from this direction now, because remember, if it's a mirror, it's the mirror is going to be technically facing that away. Yeah? The mirror is going to be facing that away. So what we'll be seeing is essentially this L shape here in detail. Yes? So I'm going to transfer that. Technically, it will look like, if I was supposed to draw that on the side, it would look like this. Right? So we're going to go across here and we're going to transfer it onto here just so we could see it better. It's going to look like this. Yes? That same L shape in detail. Now, the meat of the matter, which is often the end elevation when it comes down, as we had it before, we have to talk about the angle that we're going to view it from. Meaning, if we're going to view it from C, which is this is actually the side vertical plane, we call it that. And for this side here, I don't know if I could put it from in the back of yard, from this angle looking in, right? We'll call this C and we'll call this D. Yes? Nice. So in third angle projection, if it is that we're looking at this, we could now use it as if this plane here, this angle here, was an actual mirror, meaning that all of the details will rightfully be. Wait, let me just see. Nice. All of the details would rightfully be on this projection. Yes. Solid line. Solid line. Because the face that C will have is here and here. Yes? So we transfer that and this line will be solid because the detail is facing C. C is mirroring that exact same image there. Now when we go across on the other side now, we know that it's going to be, and if it is that we're looking at it from on the other side, it's going to be correct. This side will be hidden. So I'm not going to draw that now, but what we're going to do is we're going to develop this as if it is that we were going to draw it in AutoCAD. So we're going to go across a bit. We're going to switch back to our default color. I think is that one. Right? We're going to move across the screen. And then, of course, we're going to start with our vertical and horizontal plane. And how will this be? Now, when we're doing third angle projection, the plan, this is for more people, the plan, if we're using the same unfolding kind of action here, this we folding up, this will be at the bottom, and then these sides is what will open up, correct? What? Sure. Right? So technically, let me see if I could visualize this, you understand? This go in and fold up and look like this, and then this one here go in and fold open and look like this. You understand? You see that? So when we come here, what we're gonna end up with is we're gonna end up with our plan here, and then we're gonna end up with the front elevation. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm working on it. All right. You know what? That back. Yeah. Nice. So now we actually looking at the last one to have is the end elevation, and when we fold it out, right, and then we could also fold out this one as well because this face here would have fold out this direction, and it will kind of look like this. Yes, it would be on the bottom because remember we're fooling it out, right? As opposed to the one above, which is this one, where we had to fold the plan down. Now the plan had to fold up because we need third angle projection. Yes. So now the end elevation will come here, and since the end elevation now this one is looking from which direction we had this? Which direction we was looking at this from? Correct. This is this from the C direction. So this is the end elevation from the C direction. But now we actually have to look at it from the D direction, not the direction, D direction. Of course, I'm going to put my 45-degree angle here because of it will be inverse because we want to transfer some of the dimensions onto the plan from the end elevation. So you know we always had to do that, right? The end elevation now for the view from D, which is from the back of it, will now come here. So D will come from this. So even though we have plan front end, that is looking at it from the D side of, from the view of D. Yes? So depending on where they show you all, um, in your examples, you could actually tell what view of the object they're looking at it from. So if you realize they show you all a front end and plan, but the end on this side, you know they look, and it's third angle projection, you know they're looking at it from that, from this direction. Whoa. Yeah, relax, relax. Right. You know they're looking at it from the C direction. If it's on this side, you know they're looking at it from the C direction. If it is that it's on this side and you know it's third angle projection, because you see the third angle projection symbol, right, then you know that it's from D. Yes? Who? D. Damn. D. Nice. And that will be some of the basics for your first angle and third angle projection and everything that you need to know. Now, when it comes down to the symbol, you're all familiar with how to identify it and why the symbol is how it is, right? It's not a circle. It's technically a truncated cone. A truncated cone, or we learn a new word for that, frustum. Yeah. You understand? So it actually is going to be, it actually is a frustum, right? On this side. So let me see if I could just run over that quickly. So we know if it is how we take an object like this, I'm just gonna sketch this again for you all. This is it. This, oh, what is that? This is gonna be in first angle projection. I cooking, I cooking, I cooking. I really not cooking. I'll delete it. Just, I'll be uncooked. I'll delete it just now. Right now, if it is that we looking to sketch an object in first angle projection, right? Do not mind don't mind this little line here. Right? If it is that we're looking to sketch something in first angle projection, and we're gonna sketch this symbol, let's follow me here. And I'm gonna cook something. Right? If it is that we're sketching an object, I'm gonna put it in green. And this object has like a circle here. Oh, whoa. Almost there. Circle here. And it has like a bigger circle in the back. Yeah, a circle here. Yeah. It's a circle. And it has like a bigger circle in the back. You kind of can't see it. Little hidden lines there. Right? This is the object in, what is it there? In three in three-dimensional space. Now, if it is I was supposed to do it in first angle, let's do the front elevation very quickly. Now, we know for sure that this is a small circle, this is a big circle. The center line is passing directly through all of these circles. This is how it's going to look, right? Nice. When we transfer these particular view dimensions or views, it's going to look like this on each side, right? With the center line passing, oh, that ain't no center line. Right, with the center line passing through there, it's going to look like that. Remember, in first angle projection, we're looking at it like a shadow being shown onto the vertical plane, right? Now, this is our front elevation, right? Now, we have to do the plan. How will the plan look? The plan basically going to look like the same thing, but in that particular angle. Right, so the plan gonna look like this, and then we had to do a little center. So that's the plan, and the object is actually being projected from above in this case, meaning down. Now, what we're gonna do is what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this particular screen. We're gonna look at it from this particular screen here. That's crazy. That is crazy. Right, so we're gonna look at it from this particular view. If I was supposed to draw the other, let me cook. Look at it. Right. Anyways, anyways. Right. So this is how I will have it. Now, when it comes, let me see if I could find a yeah, the drawing board on Canva. Right. So if I have this here, right, the end elevation, depending on how I project it, will either look like two circles in the back here. Oh, switch colors. Right, it will look like two circles in the back here. One, then we'll have like a bigger circle, or in the front, it will have like two circles here. Yes, yes, right. But remember when we did our little first angle projection type of thing here, where we talk about when we viewing it from C, it casts the shadow onto this half, so then we have the front end plan. If I was supposed to take these objects and now put it in first angle projection, it will actually look like this. Let me just get this line here and draw this. Nice. It will actually look like this. So the circle itself will now come over here, and then this will be the other bigger circle, and it's gonna look like, oh, that is not the center. Right, the center line is gonna look like this, and then the center line is gonna basically come from here and cut in here, and then the end elevation. Now remember, which is this? This is the front end plan. The plan is gonna, sorry, the front is gonna come from here, go up, come down, and come across, and the plan is also gonna do the same thing. Yes, and because the plan, or after finish is true, because the plan and the front is very similar to each other, right? What we usually do is we usually omit the plan from in the drawing itself, right? So what we draw when we do in first angle projection and we do any first angle projection symbol is we just include this particular symbol arrangement with the circle on the left and the frustum looking front elevation thing on the right. Okay, so this is how the first angle projection, why the first angle projection means first angle. Now the same thing applies for third angle, but the elevation itself, or sorry, the circle itself is on the l- left hand side. Yes, nice. No, that is for different computer. Nice. So we're gonna just save this, and yeah, so that's it for the basics of first angle and third angle projection, right? Another thing that I just wanna cover very, 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 this might even be very quickly, but you know what? I ain't in it there. I ain't in it there.